So you got to do what you can with what you have. So same thing on the second one. Snap that in half. Now if you're doing what I'm doing, you should have 4-piece step right there, just like that. And then you can use that over here to get to your stairs. It should be right a reasonable amount. So what you're going to do now is you're going to sand it down. Where'd my sandpaper go? I'm going to turn that off even though it doesn't have batteries just because it might hurt me. And hurting is not what you want something to be when it's around you. I'm going to sand down the side here. Like I said, low-grain sandpaper. This is usually what you use to get a finish off of a wooden product. I don't know, it's a project. It's what you use to get like the polyurethane or something off of it. So that looks, nice and smooth, but still a little broken, and that's exactly what we want. The back side is okay. You want to pick the flatter of the two sides and just use that, and then the back side will be hidden. So right there, see how this one's like really flat on one side and really jagged on the other? You can just do something like that, and then it kind of hides the back. If it's a little jagged, that's okay. Like I said, we can use the file technique that I showed you on the bricks to create coolness. But for the time being, we're just going to focus on flattening out the sides. The battle damage, I keep saying battle damage, the weathering will take place later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assemble it. Very basic. Which one did I use? There we go. I'm going to assemble it like that so I can glue it down. But before I do that, I have to make them stairs. So, just like to match the theme of all of the bricks, I'm going to use the file, like I've done oh so many times before, and create big tiled steps. Now you want to be careful. I mean, at the end of the day, you can always go back and fix it, especially if you have some plastic hard. But you don't want to just saw right through this. I mean, if you do, that's cool, but I don't know why you'd want to. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to kind of like tear it up a little bit because, they're supposed to be worn and weathered. So you see I'm just kind of scarring it a little bit. So there we go. We got some damaged steps. Pretty simple stuff. And then we're going to do that a million more times. So when I say a million, it's actually really not that much. You also kind of want them to be tiered. I mean, not tiered. Alternating the bricks. So if I have the lines in the bricks here, 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 I'm going to probably do them down the middle of these. Think like you draw or see rather or lay bricks. Normally you'd not want them to be on top of each other. Now, it's not going to change the structure of what we're doing, but what we're doing is supposed to look like something that somebody would build, so they would probably not want their structure to be this. What would the old people of Middle-earth think about a poor structural design? They'd probably think very less of you if you tried to pull something like that off. So there you go. Here's the second one. It's got technically the same amount of lines but more tiles because of the alternating design. Same thing, weather it up a little bit. And by being as random as possible is probably the best. If you try to force it too much, you get the same thing over and over again, and that's just bad news. So I'm going to be kind of random about it. You can fit them together and see some, that's backwards, see some cool tiled steps, just like that. Nice. I like that a lot. What do you guys think? I'll assume that when I said that, all of you were thinking or saying aloud to your computer a resounding, yes, that looks awesome. You are the coolest person that has ever existed. Because that's what I usually get when I show people stuff, so that's what I'm used to hearing. Same thing here. This one's going to be not the way the first one, or it's going to be the way the first one was, not the way the last one was. So this one's a little uneven. I'm going to sand it down a little bit more. Where'd my sandpaper? There it is. There we go, a little better. So I'm going to do it just like I did the first one. A little bit, something there, there, and there. Okay, so then we're going to... I don't know why I keep repeating myself. I think you guys got the point by now. But I'm just going to finish it up just so you can see what it looks like when it's all said and done. There's that. Looking pretty good so far. No! Keep picking it up by the wrong side, so it's going to go over there. And then, of course, the other one's going to be up here. These are probably going to be much broader, bigger steps, but who knows? I might make them the same consistency just to seem cooler. And then the last one, and the last one's going to be done in the vein of the second one. Do you see the pattern? I bet you do. You guys are bright. I can tell, even though I haven't uploaded this video onto YouTube yet, but I will, and then you'll be bright. I'm fairly confident. Okay, so there's that, then doing the full through. Oh, see, I got a little dodgy there, but that's okay. Turn it into battle damage. Again, there's me saying battle damage. I'm not caring anymore. Not a big deal. You guys all think I'm crazy by now, and that's exactly what I'm going for. This one's a little uneven, so we're going to bust out the sandpaper. It's not uneven, it's just not as rounded on the edge, not as smooth. That'll be something we'll be able to tell big time during the paint process. And we want them to all be consistent. So, here we go. I don't even know if you can see all that. I'm paying more attention to what I'm doing than I am to the camera. So we got that going to that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that Elmer's glue I was showing you before, the glue stick. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I usually don't use it for anything but like paper or cardboard or whatever. But you know what? First time for everything, totally worth a try. Because all I really want it to do is stay together for a short period of time before I can use some hot glue to get it in there. So that actually works kind of nicely. So I'm going to do that, and then here's my little trick of the trade. I have to go back actually, so not so tricky when I have to wait. But I'm going to plug back in my hot glue gun. I can use my hot glue gun almost as like a welding tool to go along the back edge, and it'll be unseen, so we don't have to worry about it looking like there's a giant hunk of hot glue. Let me clean this table off. So in the meantime, let's work that glue stick. I can make sure you're using the right pieces because, I mean, everybody screws up, especially me. So I want to make sure you use the right pieces. That's not too sturdy, but that's okay. As soon as the hot glue gun gets going, it'll be over oh so soon. Okay, so there's our stairs. They look actually pretty snazzy if you look at them, and they look even cooler when they're littered with debris and all that fun stuff. Let's see if my hot glue gun is ready. Doesn't seem like it. I don't want this to fall apart, so let's see if it's ready. Ah, yeah, it looks like it was still a little hot from last time. So if you see what I'm doing here, I'm just being kind of sloppy. but doing that welding technique I was talking about. Remember how earlier I said you should always have lots of hot glue, and that's why I bought an entire bag? This is why, because hot glue, and everyone always asks me, especially when I'm doing miniatures, like, why do you use so much hot glue? You know why? Because it's cheap and it's awesome. That's why I use so much hot glue. The only problem is actually this is starting to like melt it. Usually use it on much more sturdy surfaces. I'm going to pull the bottom stair out, just so I don't get it everywhere. We'll let that little weld dry. Prop it up against something, make sure it looks good. Yep. Sometimes I'll keep a little bit of water on hand, some cold water with a brush, and you can grab the brush and just drop the cold water on it and it'll dry it really quick without interfering with anything else. It doesn't work if you're using like anything but foam though, because foam is, you know, unhindered by water. It doesn't absorb it or mix with it. But if you are using just foam, it works well. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just hold it for a second and you should be okay. If you have anything to worry about, then seriously calm down, because hobbying should be fun and not stressful, even though it's very frequently stressful. Okay, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of weldage on there. It seems to be like the weight of the glue alone is going to unrest the everything else. If you when you go on like the bottom stair, you're going to want to make sure there's not any hot glue on the very bottom, because that's where we're going to be gluing it to the base itself. But if you ask me, that's looking pretty hot so far. And yeah, it's still drying. It's not looking too bad. It's got a little bit of weight to it now, which should help it out. But it's got a very fantasy feel to it now, and it'll be awesome when it's dry. So this video has been going on for a really long time, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to work on the rest, and if you're trying this out, good luck, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay? Thanks a lot for keeping track of all this, and tune in for the next one.